Hey everyone, I'm Dakota,
And I'm Val.
and you're listening to
That's just it.
This meeting is being recorded.
This meeting is being recorded because this is episode 26 of our podcast. That's just
Yes, it
it.
is.
My name is Val. I'm here with my BFF, Dakota, who's a fantastic realtor and is listing his first house. And I'm very proud of him. Having a small brag moment. I'm very proud of him. And a slamming door at my house. That was good
I didn't
too.
even
Nice
hear
touch. Oh, good.
it.
Good.
What a
Dakota, how are
beautiful
you?
intro.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was not ready for that at all, but I loved it. I'm well today. I have lots of energy, as we pointed out already.
From the sun.
From the sun. I was photosynthesizing all day today, so I am ready to kick this episode.
Well, I've been drinking nothing but smoothies, so I mean, we're both in the same boat.
And I've been drinking, so here we are.
What are you drinking?
No, that was just like an alcohol reference, but I haven't been drinking.
Oh,
I've just been drinking water.
Good. That's good. That's good too. I have my water with me. I've been trying to only drink alcohol one night a week. It's been good.
Ooh.
Yep.
I drank alcohol for the first time in like 4 months the other day.
How'd that feel?
And it was good. I did not have a hangover. And like I stopped drinking because I hated hangovers, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
But yeah, 4 months. Wow, my one night a week. Stay in your own lane, Val. Don't talk yourself down. Sound like a real alcoholic next to you.
That's just drinking though, so you know.
The devil's lettuce is sneaking in there.
Speaking of the devil's lettuce, that segues great.
16-year-old self. Yes. Okay, I love that. So today we want to give advice that we would have given to our 16-year-old selves. Picture yourself on that G1 driver's license. What would you have told them? Wish you have told them? Wish that they would have or wouldn't have cared about? Let's start with you, Dakota. If you had one sentence to tell your 16-year-old self, what would it be?
One sentence. Oh my God, I prepared a big list.
Oh yeah. Okay, but like
struggling.
Just one. 16.
Just one. I think my main thing would be to not take life so goddamn seriously, because I was so worried about everything at 16, but not the things that I think I should have been worried about. Like I wish I was worried about saving money and, education and all that, but I was worried about what people think of me and stupid 16-year-old stuff like that, everyone says you're going to regret it when you're older, but I really, really do regret the things that I was worried about at 16.
And the time and energy spent on those things. So you would say worry about different stuff to yourself.
Yeah, that's fair. You still got to worry, but maybe just not about...
Focus. It's focus over worry, right? Like focus on the things that you can control, because you can't control what other people think, but you can control how much you save or your education. Yes, I think I would say to my 16-year-old self, buy the farms next to each other now. Because real estate is going to just be garbage when you're going to want to buy that farm next to Dakota. So buy it now.
When we were 16, we talked about buying a farm, for those of you who don't know, next to each other. And that's always been like a life goal. But for both of us to buy a farm, but for both of us to buy a farm right beside each other right now, we would be looking at some money.
Like 3 or 4 million. So we'll get there. But to kickstart our dreams, we definitely should have gone into real estate back then. But again, we can't change things. It's just the advice that we wish we would have had at that age.
Exactly.
So you've got a list. Hit me with your list, or just like one of them.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! And make that noise again.
Okay. My next thing on my list, number 1 was actually screw what other people think about you, which is basically what I just said.
Yeah.
But number 2 is to tell people when you're hurting, because vulnerability can be a superpower. I read this quote somewhere on social media, and
my really heart just did something.
For me, I've always struggled with opening up when I'm struggling, or asking other people for help when I'm struggling. And now I feel like I'm much better at it. And if I am struggling, I'll make people help me. But back then
you just stuffed it down, and you were like, it's okay, I'll be okay, but I'm not okay.
Exactly. No therapy, no,
Yeah.
Anti-anxiety medication, no antidepressants, nothing. I was just raw dogging life at 16.
Raw dog in life. Now, would that also apply to feelings? Like for me, it's just like any negative emotion, I suck at expressing. Like I would much
Yes.
rather tell you how like all the good stuff than I would be like, hey, what you said makes me angry. I'm like, I'll just be pissed off in my head and think of 15 scenarios. And so, yes, that's something I would tell my 24-year-old self as well, is just tell people how you're feeling. Like, even if it's hard. I don't know why. Like, I don't know, something obviously in my upbringing was like, we just don't talk. Like, we had emotions, but we didn't talk about them, maybe.
The bad emotions or like the negativity. You kind of avoid conflict and
Yes,
stuff like that is something we're
hardcore.
taught.
Yes, yes. So that's what I would say. Work on sharing more of that negative feedback that life has, and recognize it as a sign that something needs to change.
Right. And one thing I find interesting about that actually is thinking back in high school. I don't think I was the kind of person who did avoid conflict. Um, I think maybe I was a little dramatic, and I would call people out for things that upset me, but never anything that really meant anything. It was more like
Right,
superficial
like
things.
drama, like because it's way easier to gossip than it is to actually talk to someone about how you're feeling. 'Cause it's just surface level. It doesn't really.
Exactly. And I wonder if I use that as like a scapegoat. Like if I was mad at someone for, making a comment about something that I said or
Forgetting your
like making me
birthday.
feel bad, forgetting my birthday. But then they did something else that was, mildly inconvenient later on. And I just like instantly latched onto that. And I was like, are you freaking kidding?
Yes, yes. Interesting that the energy was always there, but it just came out at far smaller things.
Right.
And I think as a friend group, we were a good friend group, but we had some real toxic traits.
We definitely did.
I'll put that
We
out there.
definitely
Like
did.
the gossiping and the two-face and the like clicky, power trippy. I don't know, and I'm definitely was not an angel in any of it, but I look and I'm like, we were friends, but we didn't treat each other as well as we could have.
And I feel like we jumped ships a lot. Like we would be suddenly on one person's side of the argument and then we would
Yes.
talk bad about that person. Like it was just very, what was going on?
But
Why?
like who always seemed like they were having the most fun in high school was like the outcasts, I guess. Like the weird kids, which is not a proper term, but the kids that just did their own thing, wore what they wanted, and like
They
dyed
didn't
their hair the
care.
color that they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they
They were
weren't worried
living
about
life for them.
Hollister or Hurley shoes or Element skateboard shoes. I don't really even know. I'll stop trying to list off things. But
Aeropostale.
Aeropostale. They didn't care. They just
lived.
lived.
Yeah.
And I think
and back then I was like, what are you doing? Like you
right, you're
gotta
like,
keep up
whoa.
appearances.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, holy, you were doing it right. I was
You
wrong.
were years ahead, like wise beyond their years. And I don't think that they did it out of that principle of being like I'm gonna be the happiest or whatever it may be. It was just that's how they lived. Like that was their philosophy. Maybe it's from their raising, like however it was, they just interesting.
And I think it's kind of a interesting point to point out. Like if you're going through this now and you're in high school and you're maybe a little bit weird, you're going to turn out okay. Most of those weird kids are doing a lot better than the popular kids were in high school. And I just think that's such an interesting societal aspect.
Yeah, because weird is so good. Like sink into that creativity or whatever's your thing. Like as long as it doesn't harm others, then rock your thing. And there's this movie out. It's on Netflix, the kids channel. It's called The House with the Clock on the Walls, and Jack Black is in it. And in it, he says something about like it's just about being weird. Like being weird is important, and it's everything.
It's what makes you you. You.
Wow. Yes.
On the same page.
We are vibing today.
Okay. The next thing on my list, moving forth from those weird animal sounds, was it's okay to not know what to do next.
Yeah, like career or school or not school. Do I go to university or college or do I take my spare? Yeah, there was like I had a lot of stress with that because I took that year off and then I was like, okay, what do I do? If I don't do anything, I'm not going to do anything. So I better do something. And everyone's going to Mohawk, so I'm just going to go to Mohawk. It's close enough, and I'll go to Mohawk.
Right, and even like small things, like you said, like taking your spare. When to take your spare, like in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter that much. But I was
No.
so hyper fixated on every decision that I ever had to make, and I would worry about it for weeks and weeks. And what am I going to do?
But
And
you would
it's
also ask like not just you, I'm just saying as a general, you would ask like 20 people's comments and see it who was doing what in our group chat. Even though like if you just took half, like a sliver of the time that you put into caring about what other people thought or their answers were, and you put that into just like quiet time without your phone, like listening to yourself, you'd have an answer.
yeah, just have a conversation with yourself. I wish
Yeah.
I would have done what I feel like I did do in the grand scheme of things, kind of what I wanted to do, like with picking my university and stuff like that. But like
Yes.
those little things, and like you said, everyone going to Mohawk and stuff like that. It's so weird how much of an influence the people who we surround ourselves with have on us.
It's huge. It is huge.
Huge.
But
So yeah,
everything does happen for a reason too. And I think you can just find your own path a lot earlier if you stop caring earlier.
yes, 100%. And I love how everyone always told me that, like whenever I would talk to my mom about like, oh, what am I going to do with this? Or like this person said that, she'd be like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who cares?
Literally, who cares?
And then I'd be mad. I'd be like, I care. Everyone cares. Like,
This is my
this
life.
is important. Yes.
And,
But it wasn't.
But there's got to be some sort of balance between those. Like when you're, I guess it's putting it into perspective, right? Like when your
Yeah.
kid comes to you and it'll be like, okay, well, 20 years from now, when you're doing what you love, are you going to care that they said that? No, probably not. Well, then don't waste time on it now. Like,
Right.
you do you. But
Exactly. But I feel like our kids are not going to listen, and they'll just be like, yep.
that's true.
Maybe I'll just show them this podcast episode and be like, hey,
Yeah.
this was me when I was 24. Take a listen. 23. I don't want to age myself. 23.
Yeah, whoa. But everyone too, like you learn on your own time and you learn at the right times because there's certain lessons in life that you just have to live through.
Right. All right. Next on the list, which kind of goes hand in hand with this, is it's okay to say you don't know enough about a topic and to have an opinion. Because I feel like, and I see this all over social media all the time, but like I always just resonate with it because when I was young, and even a little bit now, I just feel the need that I always need to have an opinion on something. And if someone
or you're not
asks
smart
me,
or something.
exactly. If someone asks me like, what did you think or what do you think of this? And I just like in my head, I'm like, okay, I have to, that one fact I learned about it 3 years ago, I need to say something. But it's like, it's okay to just be like, you know what? I don't know enough about that to really.
But I would love for you to share it with me. Like that's what I've started doing. I had a client, he's like, have you researched the vaccine much? Like the differences between them? I'm like, nope, but I bet you have. So what, like, can you give me the Coles notes? And he did, like, but it was just like, no, honestly, I haven't taken the time to do that. It's not a priority for me, but I am interested in what you have to share.
Right. Yeah. Just saying something. That's like a perfect example. I should start doing that. Asking people to teach you. It's okay to ask people to teach you, and it's okay to admit that you don't know that. Like everyone's
take it
busy.
as that learning opportunity.
Exactly. Everyone has a busy life. You can't. I can't research every little factoid that everyone else has researched.
No.
All times.
But I think that's also important for us in our industries is that we don't have all the answers for selling a house or retirement planning. So it's important to ask the vets, if you will, or the seniored people in the industry to teach you and to admit that there's a gap in your knowledge and that you want to fill it. You don't just want to pretend it's not there because something will fall in there at some point and it won't be good because it'll reflect on you or your client. Like it's worth all, like for being that forever student. I think that's something too. I always thought like, oh, I'm going to be done school, but I'm like, I'm going to learn forever. And that's so okay. But yes, definitely.
That's like the fun part of life. You get to learn new things. I love learning new things and like figuring out things.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, at that age, I would have said something about like socially, just do your own thing. Like, don't worry if you're not going to go to a party or like do what you feel is best. Like those social pressures were always there to be like, are you coming? Are you coming? And it's like, just, you got to take care of you first.
Yeah. We were bad for that in our friend group as well. Whenever we had any sort of event, if one person wasn't coming, they just got it bad. Like everyone had to be there or the world was ending. It
was always funner with everyone there, but you had like, we put a lot of pressure on the ones that weren't coming, which wasn't right. Like maybe they were having a poor mental health weekend or a family event and we're like, oh, okay. But it wasn't really okay because we weren't very warm.
Even if they just didn't want to come, like, you know what? I had plans to sit and watch Netflix all weekend, and I've
I
really
would
been
rather
looking
read a
forward to it.
book. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that was always, I look at that now and I'm always very like, sorry, I don't know what that was. It was like a yawn, but I didn't want to yawn.
It looked like a little bit of a sneeze start too.
Little prayer. Sorry. No, but I look at it now and I'm like, if see my sisters can't come or something, I'm like, it's all good. Like, don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. It's all good.
Yeah, people get busy. People don't want to come. It's fine. We talked about it in a previous episode. I don't remember which episode it was, but saying no.
Yeah.
Important.
What else you got on there?
What else do I have on my list? You question. Number 4 or 5, I don't know. Don't be afraid to break the rules. You're living your life for you.
Yeah.
So I think that, there are rules that are meant to not be broken. Like that's not saying to go murder someone.
There's definitely some like moral rules. Yes, that those should be in place for a reason. You can't take someone else's life, even if you really want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But
at 16, I feel like I was so worried about following every single little rule.
Yeah.
Especially in like a school setting.
Oh yeah, like deadlines, and if that's what you mean, like completing everything and ticking all the boxes. And yeah, I definitely feel that too. And like the days when some kids would skip and everyone would call their parents to like see if they could, I'd never even ask. I just didn't skip because I was like so nervous as to what would happen. I'm like, it wouldn't have killed me to skip a few classes and just chill, but
exactly.
I didn't want to miss anything and then be behind.
Right. I remember the one time, I think we were in grade 12, but our whole friend group just decided to skip one day and go to Canada's Wonderland. And that was that's one of my good memories from high school. Like I love that
so
day.
Fun. Oh my gosh. I thought that was a Saturday.
Nope. We all skipped class. I'm pretty sure we all asked our parents.
We must have, because
all of our parents knew. Yeah.
Yes. And I would also say, like, to the Miss Lundy who body shamed me for showing a shoulder, I would have had such a different reaction today if I had the chance. Like, I would just put her in her belittling place. I'd be like, look, lady. Like, anyways. But those situations where you're meant to feel small because of what, like, your shoulders or your shorts are too short, if your butt is hanging out, okay. But if it's just not past your fingertips, like, girl, everybody's built different. That's a dumb rule to begin with. So I just would have had a lot more spice in my retorts to authorities that didn't align with my passions.
Same. And I remember there was a couple teachers, like you said, who would just belittle students or just like, make them feel like crap.
Yeah.
Or like, say unnecessary comments. I remember this, I don't even remember what teacher it was, but I said something in class and like it wasn't correct. And they just said like, oh, really? That's what you think or something to me. And I was like,
Pawnee Pepper.
It wasn't. It was a male teacher. I want to say like Merle or something like that.
Huh. I think I can remember a cold moment from him. I think I was sitting in front of you. I can just feel it in that history classroom.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm pretty sure. And it was just like, I was uncomfortable and I didn't say anything and I just like let it go. And now I would never let someone talk to me like that again.
No, I'd be like, pardon you? Like, oh, thank God we don't go to high school at this age, because I would. But I mean, I do think there's some things that need to be put in their place. Like some teachers, that just power trip off their role maybe, and it's absolutely inappropriate.
Right. And I think on the flip side as well, just to play the devil's advocate, there are definitely students as well who need to be put in their place and who who can't break the rules because they just run with it.
Yeah.
And there are rules that need to be followed, and it's a gray area, of course. It's life. But yeah, don't be afraid to break those little rules that don't matter, and live your life and enjoy. Do what makes you. All right, next on the list, say what you mean, but not what you think people want you to say.
Ooh, good one. Yes.
I struggle with that to this day. People will ask me something and I'll want to say no, or I want to say whatever. And then I just say maybe, or yeah, sure, I'll do that. But I don't mean that. I'm not going to do it.
Like little questions, like if like Travis asks like what's for supper, I'll be like, well, like I'll try to feel out what he wants versus just being like, this is what I'm cooking. So that's like, yeah, just not trying to ensure that my answer pleases them.
Right. And like takeout, whenever we're ordering takeout, I never want to be like, even if I really, really want like Eastside Mario's, I'll be like, oh, what do you want?
Yeah.
And there'll just be like a
Yeah.
thing of like, and then we end up getting something that neither of us really want. We
You're
just,
like, because no one wanted to just be like, this is what I want, take it or leave it. And it's always open for discussion. It's not like that, but it's like no one had the confidence in their answer because they were too worried about the other. Yeah, interesting. That's that psychology piece to humans.
and I think it, like with gossiping and stuff at 16, people would like try and gossip with me, and I would definitely like respond with gossip and be like, "Oh, yep, I heard that too. This is what I
Absolutely.
heard."
I just
In my head, I'm thinking, "I don't want to say this. No, like,
yes,
leave
yeah,
me
you're
out of
like,
this."
don't talk about other people, but then you're like, oh yeah, I heard this about her.
I
Yes.
wish I would have just said, "No, I'm not really interested in this narrative.
Yeah.
Please leave me out of it,"
Yeah.
or whatever. Not that professional sounding. I would have just been like, "Leave me alone." But
Yeah. I don't care. That's mean to talk about other people. Stop it. Yeah.
exactly.
Like there's just such easy answers, but it felt so pressured at that time that you had to
Right.
like give some fuel to the fire.
And it's crazy to think like if I would have said like, no, I don't want to do this, I would have thought about that for the next 48 hours. Like, oh my God, I made such a fool of
Did I give
myself.
the wrong answer?
They're not going to like me anymore. I've just ruined my entire high school career. Like, so dramatic.
But I stressed way too much in high school. Like just about anything, what I wore or what people, like grades and stuff. Like I just too much stress. Like, and it was wasted energy because like now I'm like, yeah, cool. Like I got the marks I needed to get through the schooling and here I am today. Like I guess that can be applied to today too, right? When you're stressing about stuff and it's like, does this really matter? Do you really need to stress about this?
Exactly. And maybe in 10 years, I'll do another, we'll come back and we'll re-listen to this episode and be like, remember those things we were stressed about at 24, 23? Probably that'll happen, but.
Yes. And something else crossed my mind very quickly there. It's totally changing topics, but don't drink so crazily on weekends every now and then. Gosh, enjoy your alcohol.
Take a break. Yeah.
Yeah. Drink some
You don't need to
water.
black out every single weekend.
And pack a lunch. Gosh darn it. Stop eating out.
I don't know how I wasn't like 700 pounds in high school. Like we ate out
idea.
every single day.
Pizza poutine. Like it was never like, I'm going to get the salad. It was like, oh.
Garlic strips at least once a week.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Like the cookies from the cafeteria. Chocolate milk.
So much chocolate milk.
So many drinks. And I look now and I'm like, yeah, like A, the money, but B, like just, my parents were buying groceries at that point, you know?
Like, yeah, exactly. You could have saved so much. You could have ate healthier. You would have felt better probably.
Oh, energy levels huge.
So many missed opportunities.
I probably would have thrown in some more personal days if I had gone back. Guilt-free personal days.
1,000%. Yeah, guilt-free, because even I did take a fair amount of personal days in high school, but I always felt guilty.
Yeah.
Usually up until like noon, and then I'm like, it's too late now.
Yeah. I would schedule like a bi-weekly personal day and just prepare myself for it, like get all the work or whatever I needed and then just not go.
Yeah.
Maybe
judging
I would
based off like test days and stuff. When personal days were going to be. Yeah, me too.
Maybe like, I don't know if I would try more sports.
Maybe get more involved with things.
Yeah.
Like we went to fair, but we never like helped like organize it or do anything like that.
No. Yes, like dabble in a bit more of the spirit side of the school. Yes.
And like go to football games and like pay attention, not just sit and drink on the sidelines.
I think it's because like our group wasn't involved and we were just like it was just easier to not miss out on any social aspect because you had like cheerleading practice or whatever.
Yeah,
I did join volleyball, but
a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't even ever go to a single track and field day. Not one. I skipped every single one.
Oh my gosh. Personally.
Yeah, it was always a track field. In grade 9, I lost like 5 or 10% of my mark because I skipped it. I was like, it's just not worth it.
Because were you afraid of what other people would think of you?
I don't know. No, because you only had to do like 1 or 2 things. I think it was just the fact of I don't like.
You didn't want to run and jump into a sand pit.
Exactly, and there honestly probably was a little bit of I was scared of what other people would think.
Yes, yeah, underlying. But what a weird thing we do. We like throw balls to judge ourselves. We run around a track, like
jump high, like
yeah. How high can you arc your back over this pole? It's just weird. It's a weird thing. I'd rather like challenge kids to go out and be like, how many like kinds of acts of kindness can you do in a day? Like and that's walking and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Or like
It's
how
so
many
weird.
people can you make smile and stuff like that.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking. Thank you, Owen. That was actually the one that was, yeah, I'd lost
Right
the
on the
words.
tip of your tongue almost.
Yeah, right there.
Same. Another thing I had on the list was we just talked about saving money. I wish I would have saved more money. I wish we've talked about it a billion times. Always start saving money as early as you can.
Yep, just start saving it. Don't have that debit card. Like, give yourself a budget. Give yourself $200 cash in a month, and that's it. And don't worry about spending money on clothes every September. Oh my gosh, that back to school was insanity. Yeah.
It was wild.
Yes.
And then don't be afraid to do things alone, like anything alone. Because I remember
use the washroom.
Yeah, use the washroom. I always went to the washroom alone, but like lunches, I would pack a lunch, or my mom would pack me a lunch because she's a gem. But if everyone was still going out to eat that day, I would still spend the money and go out with them because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to sit in school alone. But like, who cares? I would have saved money. I would have had a great lunch by myself.
So much better. Yeah. Like, go sit outside. Like, the amount of alone time that I need in a day, if I went back to high school, I'd probably be like high off of like people's energy, but I would crash. Like, I would crash, and I would just need to be left alone. Like, I would be at a lot more extremes of the spectrum, because I would be like, I'd thrive off of other people's energy when I was there, like you and I. And then I'd go home when I'd like need a nap or something. I just need like time to be absolutely alone. So now I look at like, I've really, like, I'm more consistent, but I've dialed down my exposure to people, and I've dialed like the balance of rest is better in there. But oh my gosh, imagine like a week in high school now.
No, I couldn't do it. I remember always being so confused how whenever I got home from school, I would need a nap, or I would need to rest for a bit. But some people would be like, oh, do you want to hang out after we got off the bus? And I'd be like, no,
I need to recharge.
But I always go home and nap, or lay down for a bit. But people would just come home, do their homework, get all their stuff done, and I'd be like, what? No.
But that is like the different types of people in the world, right? Like, there's the generator who's always going, but then there's more of like the give, like the flow, right? Like the ebb and flow. So you like gave it all, and you need to recharge, and that is very okay. But it's just recognizing that and understanding that about other people, understanding that not everyone is like you, and not everyone learns the same or functions the same, thinks the same, acts the same. Like, just really getting to know one another on that level. We're being like, Dakota needs that nap after school, and so do I, and that's okay. And whenever we hang out, it's going to be after 6 p.m. Like,
and people don't choose to be like that. And I know like people were judged based off of things like that, like how you learn or how you interact with people in high school. And it's just ridiculous. Like, that's something that you can be judged on because you didn't wake up and think, you know what, I'm going to be the type of person who needs to recharge after I'm with people for a long period of time. I wish I didn't have to do that. I enjoy my recharging sessions. Yeah. But
yes, if you could be on and go 24/7, then like, yes, I see what you're saying, and people don't choose to be that, but that's the beauty of people, that we're all different.
Right. That's basically all I have on my list. Did you have any other little tidbits of advice?
Oh, stop looking for love from other people and just give it to yourself. Like, gosh, I was so busy, like, trying to be like a girlfriend and relationships and 6-month anniversary and 7-month anniversary. Oh my gosh. And I was like, I don't know, I guess I was never single, but like I always had someone, like, just be alone and dig it. Because
you're in high school, you don't need to be, like, you have a life.
Yes.
Live your life. You don't need to be focusing on other people.
Focus on you, boo. I don't want to put that in there, but it's in there. So
it went in there. It's not being cut.
Just absolutely be like, just take time for yourself. Even if you're in a relationship, like, go 5 days without seeing them, or go a day without texting them. It won't be the end of the world. Shut your phone off. Go outside.
And hang out with your other friends too. You don't need to be just focused on one person. You can't get everything from one person ever.
Don't you wish you lived with your siblings again?
All the time. Oh my God. My life would be so much more exciting. Yeah. Especially during quarantine. I'm like, I just wish that. Yeah.
I wish.
I do.
Bringing all my sisters back into one roof. Oh.
No one has came into my room at 3 a.m. and played poker with our dog since I moved out.
See?
Which is unfortunate.
Ryan's doing something wrong.
He really is. Poker nights at 3 a.m. Yeah.
So So
I haven't
that's the
been
stuff.
verbally attacked at 3 a.m. for no reason. I remember one
See?
time Owen came into my room when I was taking a nap and had a metal detector and was just putting it over my body. And we didn't even own a metal detector. I don't know where he got it.
That is the stuff though. Like, and that's, I look back and I'm like, I was so focused on stuff that didn't matter that I wasn't even fully enjoying, like, my sisters who are just awesome people being around me. Granted, you get sick of each other at some point, but like, then take your space and recharge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the one final thing I would say too is you made the decisions you made and like not to think about them too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you were 16, forgive yourself a little bit. You were a kid, like you
Have some grace. Yeah. Some
exactly.
grace
Don't
here.
focus on those things too much. Grace Deer, living legend.
Oh,
But yeah.
she is.
She really is.
Yeah. Give yourself some grace, and the path will unfold exactly how it's meant to. Find the
Wow.
lesson in things too. Yeah. Sorry, I should have given a bigger pause there. But find the lesson. Like, don't think that things are just happening because, like, oh, poor me, like, this sucks. Like, there's a lesson in it. Maybe it's that, that speeding ticket you got, you need to slow down, or that project that you didn't do so well and you need to take more time to focus on your studies or whatever.
Mic drop. All right, I think that is it for week
That's it.
26
That's all.
of
Isn't
That's
that?
Just It.
I was 26 letters in the alphabet. I don't know.
Wow.
Facts.
Beautiful collection. All right. I hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you again next week.
Yep. Stay fit and have fun. That's just it.
Bye,
I feel
guys.
like-
The recording has stopped.